Hello, 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 and we're back on Bonga Dada Bonga. Bonga
Bonga,
Dada
dada,
Bonga
bonga,
Bonga Dada Bonga Dada.
bonga, dada, bonga.
Thank you for joining us wherever you may be joining us from. We're glad to have you on the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a fantastic panel lined up for you today. Some really dynamic women in politics are with us here. What? It's hot. It's hot in the run up to our 2022 election in August. Um, I have the privilege of being co-hosted by Edgar Kavravu. Edgar, do you want to just say hi to our audience?
Good evening, Aching. Good evening, Queen Mama, and everyone who has tuned in. Indeed, I'm already sweating. Today's conversation is going to be hot, and I'm so excited. Thank you for letting me co-host this session with you, Aching.
Thank you so much. You're most welcome to the show. This is our second show. Our first show was so hot, we just even ran out of time to cover all the topics. We had these lovely ladies with us who just went through a whole host of issues that women in politics face. And so, since then, what we have decided is to break everything down into little bits and pieces so that we can deal with each of the issues that they raised one at a time. For this show, we thought we would settle on the issue of violence because our last panelists, Bina and Caroline, spoke a lot about the violence they have faced in their attempts to stand for political office. I remember this amazing story about how an opposition, someone from the opposition hired goons. And when she went to complain, she was asked, "Oh, so why didn't you hire your own goons?" And it was quite an interesting moment on the show. But before we get into the content of the show, I need to tell you a little bit about this initiative. Bonga dada, bonga dong, bonga
Bonga,
dada,
dada,
bonga.
bonga, bonga, dada, bonga.
So Bonga Dada Bonga is an online series that is currently featuring Kenyan women in politics. We are a show which was created by women, for women, um, about women. It We are looking to have quite a few women on our show in the run up to the 2022 August elections. Um, and we already have a very interesting guest list and co-host list of activists, professionals, democracy practitioners, politicians, opinion leaders, all manner of people. We're going to have them on the show talking to us about what Kenyan women in politics face. Queen Mother, you know where we began. You know how we got here. Can you just let our audience know, for those who may have missed the last show, please just let us know. How did we get here? Why are we here now?
Okay, very well. Let me say good evening to each and every one of you that's tuning in to Bonga Dada Bonga. Ah, Bonga Dada Bonga. Ah, just get it in your veins, get it in your blood, because that's what it's all about. During the month of March, which is Women's History Month, on Queen Mother Speaks, we featured women from around the globe, and they were talking about their challenges and their biases that they had faced. When the women from Kenya came on the scene, they began to talk about the upcoming election. And they were wondering what's going to happen. They started expressing their fears. They used curse words. They said whatever they felt like saying, because Queen Mother Speaks is a platform that deals with community issues that matter. So they were able to say whatever they felt like saying. And they talked about their fears coming up to the upcoming election. And even after Women's History Month was over, we still were getting people with chats and conversations about it. And then when I reached into myself and asked my spirit, Lord, what am I supposed to do with this? Usually, when there's an election in Kenya, as a foreigner, we get out of Dodge. bingo, we're gone. We're not around. And you know what my spirit said to me when I asked, what should I do? It said, you have a platform. Open it up. And then I got it. And then I began to reach out to women, okay? Women who care, women who are active, women who have something to say, women who are not afraid to open their mouth, women who are not afraid to be a part of Bonga Dada Bonga. And that's how we started, and the rest is history. And here on Bonga Dada Bonga, episode number 2, you are with us for making that history. Bonga Dada Bonga,
Amen.
Bonga Dada Bonga.
Amen.
History. We're making history. Yeah, we're
Yes, we
making
are.
history where we have the main goal to provide solidarity to and space for women aspirants to talk about the issues that matter to them ahead of the elections. This includes getting to know them, hearing their manifestos, what they represent, how Kenyans will be impacted by their time in office, should they make it. And it also allows us a platform to talk about, the gendered challenges of elections or elective
Mhm.
politics, you know, things like violence, representation. We recently had that decision again on the two-thirds rule, resources for women to engage in politics, their ability to secure or even hold on to party tickets. All that is going to come up in our additional shows. But
Mhm.
today, let's meet our beautiful guests who are with us today. So, first and foremost, I didn't properly introduce my co host. Now, Edgar
Ah, let's go back.
may be looking
Yes, Aching.
very quiet, but he's no quiet person. Edgar is I've known you for ages, haven't I, Edgar? We shall not count
Yes,
the
I
years in public.
more than a decade now.
Oh wow. Oh yes. Okay. So it's that long. So Edgar, who's
Yes.
co-hosting me this week, is a dynamic thinker with a passion for research. He's a lawyer. He's a networking, litigation, and human rights advocate. He spends much of his time addressing Africa's human rights and justice challenges, and how to overturn them through the law. I mean, that's what lawyers do, right? Rather than represent people in court. He's a member of the Kenyan bar, so he's all qualified. He can represent you. He's a leader and a manager with experience in senior executive positions. And most of all, Edgar has reviewed and authored articles on electoral related violence in Kenya, and he will be bringing that experience to this conversation. Thank you, Edgar, for agreeing to be here with us today.
The pleasure is all mine, Aching, and thanks for the introduction.
Okay. In the show, we also have Ms. Jacqueline. Now, Jacqueline, when I was doing, reading your bio and everything, I was like, wow, I can't wait to meet you. Like, who does that? Who vies in a county that has one woman MCA? Like, that is so amazing. You're in a county that has I think, probably the fewest number of women in politics, in representational politics in that PC county. And yet, as a teacher, one day you woke up and said, "I'm going." Nanda, tell us what happened.
Okay, thank you very much, Bonga Dada Bonga, for this special juncture that you've given me to be live. I thank you very much. Okay, my name is Jacqueline Nyakunda. I'm aspiring MCA, Monyerero Ward, Kitutu Chache North, 045. Okay, I'm 35 years old. I'm married. I'm blessed with the children. Above all, I love Jesus. He's my personal savior. I'm a diploma holder in education. As you said, I'm a teacher. The things that have inspired me to venture to politics are many. First, I grew in a Monyerero ward since I was young. I know the challenges that Monyerero ward is facing because in primary, I was in one of the schools at Monyerero. Secondary, I was in one of those
Jacqueline, I think we may have
schools. When I
lost you.
went to college, yes, I know very well the problems that Monyerero ward is passing through. So since I've been there, these programs that they are passing through inspired me to vie as an MCA. Because as you know, the MCA is the one, the MCA is the one who knows the problems that the world is passing through. So, and if you are the person who is born in that Monyerero ward, you know it very well. So the problems that they are passing through education, because like me, when I was schooling, there was problem in school fees. In fact, I dropped when I was in Form 2 because of lack of school fees. I dropped for 1 year. Then we were hustling with my parents. Then I came back the following year. So these problems that I passed through, also people there are some people who are very poor in that Monyerero ward. So we have been electing some people who have passed through very good life. They don't know about poverty. So because I know about poverty, I decided to stand at that gap of my people of Monyerero. Because even the distribution of bursaries was not fairly done when I was in school, because you find people coming from a well-off family is given bursary. So these things inspired me to venture to politics so that I can help my people in Monyerero. Second thing, I was inspired by this lady called Gladys Wanga. There was a time that she was interviewed on TV. She was when she was concluding the interview, she concluded saying that there might be some ladies who are watching me. They have been wanting to vie, but because they are women, they just fear. How can people see me? I don't have money. How my husband will he give me permission to go and vie? So he said, now if you are there, you are watching me, just stand the way you are. Even if you don't have money, just go to the field, sell your manifesto, and people will just listen to you. And that's what I did, because I wake up in one morning, I was going for funeral in my home. So I stood and I told people that I'm vying for the MCA. So they started asking themselves, this like Jacqueline has been sent by somebody. So when my turn came, when I told them that I've stood and vying for MCA, the women there were very happy. They clapped. They were very happy about that issue. So I started from there until where I reached.
That is
That's what
quite
inspired
amazing.
me. The
Wow.
problems of Monyerero. Also, I was inspired by Gladys Wanga when she was being interviewed.
Amazing. Amazing. Words are powerful. Words are powerful. It so happened that you happened to hear Gladys Wanga and decide, yes, that is going to be me. Um, that's amazing courage, Jacqueline. Amazing courage indeed. So what
Yes.
when you were deciding to stand, what was going to be like your this is what's your manifesto, your personal manifesto. What is the one agenda that you wanted to definitely bring to the table? Say, this is my passion, this is my goal. If there's anything I achieve in politics, this will be it. What's that one thing?
Okay, the first thing, as I've said earlier, I was brought in a very humble background where my parents were just decent farmers. They were hustling for us, for 7 of us to get education. So my first agenda was to cater for education. first thing, I was thinking that there are some people in my Monyerero ward, there are some people there who want to go to school, but because of poverty, they can't go to school. So my first manifesto was, it was that I make sure that my people from Monyerero are well educated through Monyerero. Them, at least 3 of them, which will cater for get centers where they can do research. Through that, we started a foundation that is called Nyakundi Foundation. We give out exercise books and pens, which these people use when they were approaching the. We provided them with the encyclopedias which they used to revise, and the results was wow. So my first agenda was to go to education. And also, we have people with special needs who don't have access to school as a teacher. I was to ensure that we have a special units at Monyerero ward, which will cater for these special kids to get education. Also, we have orphans, and also we have widows who are from Monyerero ward who want their pupils to go to school, but they don't have materials and money. So my first agenda was to go to those people. Because politics is a wide field. It's a wide field that can make someone rich to those poor people, because as you know, teachers, we earn peanuts that cannot even enable us to cater even our family needs and help somebody outside there. So I opted for this politics, because through this you can get access to NGOs, well wishers, who can help you to achieve the dreams of Monyerero people. So my first agenda was to go to education. Secondly, my second agenda was to go to women at Monyerero. I was to ensure that they have access to clean water, whereby I was to build some boreholes, because as you know, water is life. And the pupils will not come to school if they have not bathed, they will not come to school. And if there is no water, there is no food there. You can't make food without water. So my second agenda was to go to water, ensure that our mama wametoa mitungi kwa vichwa, because that's when they will be very happy that at least a change is like a rest. So the second agenda, I was to ensure that my Monyerero people will get access to clean water through building the boreholes. My third agenda was I was to ensure that my Monyerero ward has accessible roads, whereby when they are transporting, they are buying centers, because others they are they pick tea. When they are taking to the pine centers, it becomes easier for them because the roads are accessible. That was where if I was given a ticket, those.
Ladies and gentlemen, you notice that we are
Were my
having a
agenda.
little technical
Yes.
difficulty.
Yes, they were eagerly waiting for a female person. At least they make a change, then they see how things are on.
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying that
Yes.
the people wanted a woman?
Yes. Why I'm saying that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So the
The reason
people
why I'm
want a
saying,
woman. So,
Yes, they wanted a change. They wanted a change. They were saying that they are fed up with these men because there are so many things there that were undone. So when I was vying, they were very happy because nimelelewa huko, wananijua, I was morally upright.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just allow me to interrupt. And
So we were given books from UPA.
Uh-huh.
So I was going door to collecting this membership. They were very happy. In fact, they were telling me, sababu tunakujua, you are a morally upright ready. We have accepted to give you our IDs.
oh,
Wow.
Smooth, but what happened is that unfortunately I was not given a ticket. I fight it, but I was not given a ticket.
it's very interesting listening to Jacqueline. And
Yes.
when she says that the community wanted a woman, that's very interesting, because also just listening recently to Honorable Martha Karua, when she was asked whether Kenya is ready for a female president, and she asked when did Kenya meet and decide that Kenya is not ready for a female president, and are we insinuating that that we'd rather elect incompetent men than women who are competent? And just listening to your manifesto, Jacqueline,
Yes.
I hold the view that you have really captured the issues that affect most Kenyans, especially in the rural areas. I just want to know the kind of support that you have received from your immediate family, because sometimes as a woman in Kenya, you're going to vie. There are usually a lot of challenges from your immediate family, your parents, your husband, your brothers, your relatives. How has been the reception for you?
Okay, first and foremost, I could like to thank my husband who has been behind me, because when I stood, he was told a lot of things. He was told, umeachia huyu mwanamke wako wanaume. You know, when you are going to politics, you are a prostitute. So because even I was called names, this is now a prostitute, you know, this man married a prostitute, ni kama amemwekea madawa. So I was told a lot of stories, but I'm very happy because he has been behind me. He has been supporting me, even financially, he has been supporting me. Also, because I'm the 50th born in my family, I have elders. They supported me and they were behind everything that I was doing. They were following what I was doing. So they gave me fully support. Despite of the journey that was very hard, I thank them because they were behind me.
It's good to it's
Yes.
good to learn that at least there's support from your husband and your immediate family. And just going back to your manifesto, I wanted to know whether you got you received technical support in coming up with your manifesto. What informed the issues that you have captured in your manifesto? For example, poverty. There have been very many leaders before you, and I know during campaign they said that they're going to address the issue of poverty, the issue of education. So what strategies did you use in coming up with your manifesto? What sort of assistance did you get? What challenges did you face?
Okay, when I started with that manifesto, my family members, especially my elder brother, came up with the organization which is called Nyakundi Foundation, which was catering for education. So this brother of mine was giving out materials, and wherever I was going to funerals, I used to give them encyclopedias, which they used to revise when they did their KCPE. So my brother gave me that support of materials in education, encyclopedias, which enabled these children to do well in their exams. So that's the support that I've got from the family. They were providing me with those because we grew in a very poor family. So that's why we opted to start with education, whereby they were assisting me with the materials.
So, Jacqueline, me, I'm
Yes.
very curious. So now all these people, Wanakwita, all manner of names. Um, so all that verbal violence that you are facing. In the last show, as I said at the beginning, some of
Yes.
the women that we spoke to in our very first show were saying that they reached the campaign venue wakapata wako na magoons hapo. The opposition has weked his own goons to stop her from entering the venue. Have you experienced anything like that or any kind of violence as you are trying to vie in this place where, there's so many men?
Okay. When I started vying, the journey has not been smooth. When I was walking, maybe I was using a motorbike going to funerals. Some people were telling me, if you continue walking like this, you will not get your head on your neck. Because now it is like you
Hey.
have changed the ground, to the Ekereb, we call it in Ekebusi Kilemba. So they were threatening me, telling me, if you are not going to drop this, you are not going to get your head on your neck.
Ooh.
Other things they were
To
telling
your
me,
face.
even if you,
To your
yeah,
face. To your face.
yes,
Like this,
yes,
like the way I'm talking to you.
yes,
Oh.
yes. They told me, if you want life, na kama unataka tu wewe na watoto wako, just leave this thing. These
No.
things are for men, not for women.
They even
So
threatened your
even
children.
yes, they were telling me, if you want to live with your children well, just drop this thing. So the journey is not smooth for women. It is very rough. It needs somebody who has mwenye ako na roho ngumu. That's when you'll make
Heart
it.
of stone. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, and
Jacqueline, we need you alive so that you can see your manifesto come to fruition. So, are you receiving any support from the local administration, the area chief, the police? Because in our Kenyan law, every citizen has a right to vote. Every Kenyan citizen has a right to vie, and it is the duty of the
yes,
government to give you security. One, do you feel
yes,
secure? And second,
yes, yes. Okay, yes.
uh, have you received any sort of support from the local administration, especially the police and the chief?
Okay, as I can say, when I was doing my campaigns, I can say the sub chief and the chiefs, wherever I was going for funerals, when I was giving speech, they were very happy about the speech that I was giving. The speech was moving them. So in fact, even one chief, one chief told my opponents that you must sell your agendas the way this girl is doing, in a peaceful manner. So they were protecting me. They were behind me.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah, I'm happy to learn that. And what immediately came to my mind is the culture of corruption in Kenya. And when people in Kenya, when you have a birthday, people call you so that you can buy a gift for them, and you're the one who has a birthday. When you're vying, some people in the community see that as an opportunity to extort money from you. So those people who are assisting in the community, the young men, the police, they might tell you, nipatie kitu kidogo, give me something small so that we can give you security or so that we can support you. Have you experienced extortion or corruption from
yes,
the administration?
yes. Yes,
How have you
I've
dealt with it?
experienced. Okay, thank you. I've experienced this in my campaigns, and as I said earlier, as you know, teachers we get peanuts. So I saved a small amount of money, which was worth 350,000. So when I was going to funerals, when you give out, for example, we call it Ineke Usierongori, when you give that out, when you are moving from that funeral, they just follow you telling me, give us something. You can't say that you are buying and you don't give us anything. So at least you'll have something small that you can give those boys who are following you. I used to give some, and others when I was not having, I could tell them, just let me, then you get good fruits. Because these people who normally give a lot of money, I used to tell them, when they give a lot of money, that time when they will be elected, they will make sure first year, second year, they are returning their money.
Recovering.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
was telling them, don't be very happy when you are being
Mm.
given a lot of money. You are being given 1,000. You are being given 500.
It is
When you
you're
elect
being
them, that's
given
the
your
first.
money in advance.
Yes. So I was telling them, it is good you elect me because I've used a small amount of money.
Yeah.
When I get to power, I will start immediately developing our ward. So I
Mm.
used to encourage them like that. But I was very happy because there is the reception of people, of my people in Monyerero. I know even others are watching. In fact, up to now, they are waiting for me. They know that I went to independence. But the timeline was
Mm.
very short.
Yeah.
When I was denied a ticket, the timeline was
Mm.
very short. In fact,
To
it's like
move.
those people who are disabled, they were assembled, waiting for me up to now. They call me,
Wow.
Jacqueline, are you coming? Because we've not come
Mm.
across somebody who is catering for these
Mm.
disabled people. They have not come even across they don't come near to us. But you came door
Yeah.
to door. You were entering every door. You were
Yeah.
sitting, nilikuwa nakalia kibuyu. Ikifika huko, if there is no chair, I just sit there. So they were
Mm.
very happy about me. In fact, up to now, they are waiting for me. So
Wow.
I think if others are watching today, that's when they have known that I don't have a ticket. But others are waiting
I'm
for me because
yeah.
they were eagerly waiting for a female. And the
Yeah.
way I was telling my manifesto, they were very happy about it. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
glad that you're still going to continue to fight, Jacqueline. I mean, again, kudos to you. Tia moto, dada.
Yeah.
You
Thank you.
really
Thank
takes
you.
courage to engage in Kenyan politics. And I think you pointed out a few of the also the really bad habits of the electorate, right? People want to be dished, given money. People want to, use violence to push their agenda, direct threats at you. Was there ever a time you felt unsafe?
Pardon?
Was there ever a time when you were out in the community that you felt unsafe?
When I was out in the community, is there
Yeah.
a time that I was unsafe?
You felt
Unsafe?
unsafe, not safe. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Even when I was outside the community, I felt unsafe because people started asking where I'm staying.
Oh.
Because I've grown there, so they started asking where is this lady staying because we've seen she has come, she has changed the song in our ward. So I was very unsafe. I was not even ready to tell anybody where I come from. In fact, even when I was doing my campaigns, I could do my
Mm.
campaigns, and all of a sudden I will just leave, and they don't know whether I've gone home or I've gone to the place that I am staying. So
Mm.
it was a challenge. Yes, yes.
Edgar, you've done the research. What does it look like? What is our legacy with electoral related violence?
Well, I have done research on the Kenya's history on electoral violence during election. I've also been able to engage with survivors of electoral violence. Following the 2007 post-election violence, I did assist some victims to participate in court processes, national and international. So I was able to um, sit down with the victims, mostly women, uh, just to listen to the ordeals that they went through and to talk to them about options for justice. But again, Kenya suffered elections-related conflict since the introduction of the multi-party politics in 1992. However, the electoral conflict in Kenya has its roots in the colonial disempowerment of indigenous communities in Kenya and in many other African countries. We have seen post-election violence in our sister countries such as Uganda, Burundi, and many other countries in the region. Elections has been a source of conflict. So following Kenya's independence in 1963, there was newly installed native rulers, leading to an equal distribution of economic and political resources. And in 2007, one of the drivers of the conflict was resources. Questions arose as to why there are Kikuyus in Rift Valley or Kisses in another area. So the perception was that these communities got this land unfairly. So our presidents, our former presidents, the late Kenyatta and Moi regimes were characterized by the personalization of state power, articulation of political interest of the ruling elite, and ethnicized politics. So in 1991, and thereabout, most political parties were established through ethnic positioning as the basis of the power. There's a perception in Kenya that if my tribesmate or if my ethnic mate ascends to power, resources will trickle down to to my ethnic community. Unfortunately, that is not the case. So Kenya has experienced election violence in 1992, in 1997, 2007, and in 2017. And this violence has led to loss of lives, internal displacement of people, IDPs, gross human rights violation, and widespread sexual and gender-based violence. Women, children, persons living with disabilities bear the brunt of electoral violence.
Mm. So, Edgar,
In 2000,
it sounds very much like you're saying that we have a culture of violence in Kenya. Why do you think that is? Like, I mean, you've talked about, our colonial history, you've talked about, ethnicity being a divisive factor, but sometimes it just sounds like Kenyans wanapenda kupigana. What am I hearing? Is there, what is really going on? To the extent that someone can threaten you to your face that if you want to leave, you leave this seat for me. How are we here as Kenyans?
uh, the perception that politics comes with resources, both financial, other resources such as land, jobs, and we saw that in the Moi regime and the um, the late Jomo Kenyatta regime, where a certain ethnic community were able to get resources or even employment. So elections in Kenya is a motive, and this has been fueled by politicians. You can hear through their speech, there's a lot of hate speech, pitting one community against the other. The unfortunate bit is that when these politicians are sent to power, in most instances, there's no development in their communities. You only see politicians digging roads when they're campaigning, but when they get into power, most of them enrich themselves. Also, there's a culture of entrenched impunity where perpetrators of violence are not prosecuted. It's a challenge prosecuting those in power, especially when they commit grave crimes such as genocide, crimes against humanity, sexual and gender-based violence. And that is why in 2007, when Kenya was unwilling to prosecute the perpetrators of the violence, Kenya became a situation country at the International Criminal Court. So that aspect of
Yeah.
entrenched impunity
Yeah.
makes it very difficult to address electoral violence.
Jacqueline, do you agree? Basically, Edgar is saying that because we've just never prosecuted people, so people think you can get away with violence, and that's why we're so violent during elections. Well, I think we're violent as a country more generally, but specifically during elections. Do you think that what Edgar has said is true? Let me drag you into the conversation. You think it's just
Yes, that one.
impunity?
Eh?
Mm. And I said, do you think
Yes,
it's just
that one.
impunity?
It, do I think?
Do you think it's just because nobody has been prosecuted? So just people are being impuned, they think they'll get away with it.
Yes, I think if our country Kenya raised and at least they prosecute those who have done all those, then people will not go to that road. But because there's no any action which is taken, they continue and continue. Like now, as women, as I can say, because I'm a woman. When we are vying, we pass through a lot. Like now, me, when I started vying, I was looking for a party. So when I went to ODM, I was told ODM is a giant party. It will not accommodate a woman. So they told me, as a woman, you are supposed to go for small, small parties. Then from there, I started looking for a party that can accommodate me. That's when I landed to UPA, and I was the first person to register from Monyerero ward. So because I was the first person, they gave me the books. I went, I registered these members, 500 of them. And at the midst, they told me that, Jacqueline, you are at 2. I asked them, from where? There's a guy who came and registered, but don't worry, you will be observed because of gender. So I was on registering people. So they called us for interviews. So when I went for interview to the office, which is here in Kisi, I was humiliated so much.
No.
I was humiliated so
Even though you
much. I
are
was
the first
tortured.
person from your ward.
Yes. They were telling
This is
me,
at the
just
party level. Kwa party.
yes.
Oh.
Yes, so because the people who were conducting the interviews were my fellow MCAs who were vying. The reason being that they had experience, those counselors
How is
of
that
those
fair?
days.
So the people who are competing with you are
Yes,
interviewing you.
yes. So so it was very funny. I was humiliated. I told them I will not accept the result until I go to Nairobi. So they told me, even if you go to Nairobi, the Sinovet is saying you are a project of the sitting MCA and your husband died long time ago and you are practicing prostitute. So there's no way a prostitute will be given a ticket. So I told them, no, let me just find my space. I go to Nairobi. They told me, even if you go, the report that has gone there is that you are a project of the sitting MCA. So that's why I said I respect my husband because he accompanied me to Nairobi so that he can tell them I'm the husband of this lady. Everything that they are saying, it is not true. So that's why I said I thank him so much. He's the one who has enabled me to reach where I reached. And also I thank my family and friends because when my friends heard that I was not given a ticket, they started contributing through WhatsApp so that I can go for independence. But the timeline was very short. Also, I cannot forget to thank my sister, Catherine Kerubo Mokaya, because when I received the news, I was in Nairobi. So I was with this lady. She's the one who conducted first aid to me. She's the one who encouraged me. I thank her so much. I pray that God keep her for me because 5 years is just but a number. And at least they just they did not kill my dream. They just delayed it, and we live to fight another day. So why am I saying this? If these people knew that what they are doing, action will be taken, they could have not done it. But because they knew that nothing will happen, that's why they did all that. That's why I came up with this story to answer the question that you asked me earlier.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yes.
So let's say you are now
Okay.
the Gladys Wanga of your day. What
Yes, she's the yes.
message, what message would you give to other young women aspirants who are facing, very tough challenges where, in this very male dominated political field, who are calling them all manner of names, making all manner of threats, throwing mud on their reputations, or just people who watch it from afar and they're like, I don't know if I want to. What message do you have to those who may be listening? You may be their Gladys Wanga.
Yes, thank you. Okay, my fellow women who are watching me, I could like to tell you that if you have a dream like mine, I have a dream of working for my people. So if you have a dream of anything, just push on and pray God. Because with the hand of God, nothing is impossible. That's what I can tell those who are viewing me. You just continue pushing, even if there are challenges. Just you continue pushing. At the end, you see the victory. Because like now, mimi sijakufa moyo. I know that if God wanted me to work for my people, I will work for them. So I'm continuing pushing on. Also, I'm praying that you pray for me so that I achieve the dreams, because being a leader is a call, and it's God who chooses leaders. Because I came from nowhere, people were saying, where is this lady coming from? We've never heard about her. But when I was selling my manifestos in funerals, people were very happy. They were very happy about that. So if you are a leader, you cannot hide. That's what I can tell my fellow women who are watching me. If you are a leader, you cannot hide. Just come out. And my prayer is that our government at least will pass that rule of the two gender rule, so that
Yeah, the
we will be
gender.
observed. Yes. And another thing, I'm praying that at least we have a party that the majority of women are considered, whereby we can have men, the minority of men and the majority of women. Because if we continue with this trend, in fact, no woman who can stand in a party. Like now, me, I'm thinking of standing as an independent candidate, because these parties, they have a lot of issues. If you don't have, they don't consider women. More so from my place, Kisi, women are not considered, and they are not seen to be leaders. Ukisimama tu wanasema huyu si arudi nyumbani afanyie watoto. Unaona, kazi yao ni nyumbani. So I'm praying that at least they know that behind a success, in every successful man, there is a woman behind that. So if they give us a chance, we can do well, and at least we can deliver to our people. So I'm urging those women who are watching me to continue pushing.
You had a question.
Yes.
No, just listening to Jacqueline, and I'm encouraged by the fact that she is so brave enough even to wade through the very difficult political terrain in Kenya. I know vying as a woman, it comes with a lot of challenges, especially around security and financing. And the other challenge is around misinformation, saying that Jacqueline is a prostitute just because she's a woman. So these narratives have been passed in our communities from time immemorial. And also with uh, the technology, there's now technically assisted violence against women through WhatsApp, through Facebook, Twitter, just saying, for example, look at that woman who is supposed to be taking care of her husband, but instead she's walking around talking to people, other people, including men. So I see a lot of bravery in Jacqueline, and she is a leader because teachers are leaders, and because teachers are the ones who bring up doctors, bring up politicians. So I believe that Jacqueline being in that level of an MCA, she is now a greater teacher. So my question is just around the misinformation and when you're creating awareness, how does illiteracy play a role, especially with women? How does the level of literacy among women contribute to women themselves ascending to elective positions?
So just before Jacqueline, you answer, I just like to give a shout out to all the people who joined the show, all those who are watching. Thank you for joining. Remember, Bonga Dada Bonga, Bonga Dada Bonga comes to you every Thursday live on Facebook. You don't want to miss this show. You really don't want to miss this show. Jacqueline, go ahead, answer my co-host's question.
Okay. What I could like to say about the women who are illiterate, when you stand by those women who are illiterate, they don't feel you as a good person because because they are not enlightened. So at least as a leader, when you stand by, you must know that you are dealing with the categories of people. You must know how you are dealing with these women who are illiterate. For example, in my side, we have so many women who have children who wenye walishindwa kuendelea na masomo wakapata watoto. So I was thinking about starting a project for these women so that they will realize that when a woman is in leader, at least they benefit a lot than when a man is there, because mostly a man will not go looking for these women and encouraging them. So I was thinking of starting a project for them. When I get this seat, then at least they get themselves somewhere, because it was because of literacy. Maybe they got themselves in the shoes that they are. So even now, if I get a connection to an NGO or well-wisher, at least I can start my projects as early as today while waiting for the 5 years to come. Then I vie for the MCA in my place.
So, you had mentioned something about the 2/3 gender rule. Why do you think that it's so hard for people to accept that women need to be equally represented in politics?
Okay, the problem here is because those people who pass these rules, most of them, they are men. So you find that when they are passing this, there are more men. If you get a woman there, you just get one woman there. So it has been hard because we don't have a majority of women when they are passing this this gender rule, because it is facing the woman, and you find that those people who are passing it are majority of them are men. So that's why it has become very hard to pass. Yes.
But it's not just about passing it, because they keep arguing that, oh, we don't have enough women, we don't have enough women. And here you are, Jacqueline, telling us how you had a wonderful plan for Kenya. You had a wonderful plan for your constituencies. They were happy about your plan. You were the first person to join a party. In the end, they kicked you out. And then they said there are no women. So what is that about?
Okay, there are so many women outside here who are very good leaders. The problem with us is that we are not given space. we have very strong women who are devoted, but the problem is that they are not given space to air out their strength, to air out to even to sell their manifesto. They are not given space. In fact, men are not giving them space. So we have so many women. Like now, they can say that we don't have men, but now you found out that I was there. And in fact, from Kisii County, we were only 2 ladies who were vying for MCA. My colleague got a ticket because she didn't have opponent. But me, because I had opponents, I was kicked out. So we have so many ladies outside here. The problem is that the parties are not giving us space. That's why I said how I request that we come up with the party which consider at least the maturity in women. And I trust that if maybe Mother Karua is going to be our deputy president, at least is going to assist us in this in this way. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
So
let's
we
hope
have so many women out.
to be our deputy president. We look forward to having a woman deputy president who's elected. And
Yes.
I'm really grateful, Jacqueline, for you for making the time. I want to give a special shout out to my co-host, Edgar Kavravu. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for all the knowledge that you've brought around Kenya and violence and issues of impunity. This show would not have been the same without you. So thank you for your legal mind, for bringing that context to the show. We're supposed to have Anita Soina on the show. Unfortunately, she did not make it, but don't worry, we still have a couple of shows ahead. So Anita, if you're watching, we're still gonna have you on a show one of these fine days. I would like to also make a shout out to all those people who are joining. Bonga Dada Bonga. If you're here, join the
Bonga
conversation.
dada bonga. Yes.
Bonga Dada, Bonga Dada, Bonga Dada.
Bonga dada bonga, bonga dada bonga. I'm very happy. I'm very happy to be associated with Bonga Dada Bonga. I'm very, very much happy. I'm very happy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So everybody out there watching, remember, voter Dada. Voter Dada. Don't just say voter Dada. If there's any Dada on the ballot box, you've heard from Jacqueline and what it has taken to get onto that ballot. It's not an easy thing, eh? It's not an easy thing.
Yes.
Jacqueline, at least she's had a supportive husband, so she's been able to get us she's been able to, really push and go where she could. Unfortunately, she got time bad, but she made it at least to campaign and to be out there and to put herself out there and to say what it is, what her dreams and her vision is. So everybody, thank you for joining. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you. Please comment, like, tell your friends about Bonga Dada, Bonga Dada, Bonga Dada,
Bonga dada bonga, bonga dada bonga. In fact, to be called yes, yes. In fact, to be called yes. In fact, to be called Mheshimiwa is not 1+1. It has hardships. Yes, that's what I've come to learn because this was my first time. Hey, it is not easy.
The ladies at the last show are telling us that before they go for campaign, they're advised, kwanza vaa bikers, ndio uvae trousers.
Yes, because of violence.
Going for campaigns. When did we evolve?
Yes.
So as we wrap up today's show, we'll be back again next Thursday with some brand new guests and a brand new co-host. We'll be talking about very exciting things. We're always talking about very exciting things, but next week we'll be focusing on the 2/3 gender rule. What is going on with this 2/3 gender rule? Kila sani kupostpone. Oh, we didn't find women. I want to understand what is going on with this 2/3 rule, and hopefully our guests next week will help us to distill that. Please look out on Bonga Dada Bonga for the posters for our next show. But it will just be 7 p.m. Thursday. So kama wewe ni Mkenya, At least you just tune
Yes.
in at 7 p.m. next
Yes.
Thursday.
And in fact, yeah, and in fact, I forgot this even nominations. I could
Yeah,
to request that if somebody has shown interest in
yeah,
politics, hey, it
yes,
is very healthy for this person at least even to be nominated, because they told me because
yes,
of gender, I will be considered. In fact,
yeah,
I waited in vain.
yeah,
Even if they call me and tell me that you've been nominated, but that one, since they wrote the message that I was not considered, so they have
yeah,
not come back at least to tell me you are
yeah,
nominated because you show the interest in
yeah.
politics.
That's a shame.
Yes,
So
yes,
I have my last question, my last question for you at the top of the hour, Jacqueline. Um,
yes.
how has all this drama you've talked to us about, all the successes you've had, how has it changed your life? How is Jacqueline the teacher versus Jacqueline the politician?
Okay. As I said earlier, when you want to venture to politics, you must be hard. The way
Yeah.
Mandago was saying, you don't put politics inside your heart, but or you put it on your lungs. So it has strengthened me. In fact, I'm not the way I used to be. I
Mm,
used to be angry. I used to cry when somebody has done wrong for me. But
yeah.
because of politics, in fact, I'm very strong. It has made me to be very strong to endure so many things.
Yeah.
Yes, it has made me to be a strong lady.
Okay.
Yes,
Ladies
yes,
and gentlemen, friends, colleagues, folks out there who are watching, who are tuned into the show, thank you for joining us for this episode of Bunga Da Da Bunga Da Da Bunga Da Da
bonga da da
Bunga
bonga,
Da
bonga
Bunga
da
Bong,
da
Da
bong,
bonga.
dad,
Da
bong.
Yes,
Bunga.
bonga da
Thank you
da
very
bonga.
much, Jacqueline. Thank you for
Yes,
joining our show. Thank you, Edgar, for being on this show. And we look forward to seeing our audience next week, 7 p.m.
yes,
Thursday,
yes.
East African
Hey,
time.
bye bye,
Bye.
bye bye,
Bye
bye.
bye.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.